Welcome back to the final 393 Legacy, a Gorilla podcast. Yeah, we're here in a special place. We're already sort of behind the scenes here, sitting on the stage, getting ready for, a very, very important event, which is this Saturday at 10 o'clock. It's high school graduation. We hope to see this place packed and cheering on all of our graduates. And we're going to visit with Mr. Jayceon Nelson here in a minute. But a little bit of a sneak peek into next week. That's right, the last week of school. So there's a lot of activities in that last week, believe it or not. So first one, we already talked about graduation this Saturday, 10 o'clock right here. You've got a 5th through 12th grade band and choir concert right back in here on Monday. And then we have regional golf, which they are over at Salina for regional golf over there. And then on Tuesday, middle school awards night and 8th grade promotion right back in here on Tuesday. Regional track, they head out to Marion on Thursday, which is also the last day of school for students. A little different this year. State track is actually the weekend following Memorial Day. So we wish our golfers and our tracksters the best of luck, and they'll compete the week after Memorial Day for the state tournaments there. So wish them the best of luck and hope for good weather for both of them. So Jayceon, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing good today. How are you?
Good. So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and your family.
My name is Jayceon Nelson. I went to middle school at Lakewood and have been at Solomon since my freshman year. I live with my mom. She's a great person.
She's a good person. She's a great person.
Sir.
Good mom. And we're glad you came over here. 4 years. So what do you think? 4 years over here. Have you enjoyed your time?
Yes, sir. I've enjoyed my time. I really like that how everybody knows each other.
Yeah, that can be good and bad.
Yeah,
that can be good and bad. Yeah. That's part of being in a small school, which is pretty neat. You talked about a little bit of your journey already, but let's talk about a couple of those teachers. Maybe before you came over in Salina, are there a couple of teachers you'd like to give a shout out to? How about some of the ones here as well throughout your time?
Definitely the teachers here. I would have to give a shout out to Mr. Norgren and Mr. Stein. They've been supportive my whole 4 years and just showed that they cared for me.
Yeah. Sometimes that also comes, you don't always agree with your teachers or your coaches. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
You sort of grow through some of those most difficult times. And so that's good. What about over in Salina? Anybody in grade school or middle school or anybody throughout your journey?
Mainly my math teacher. Her name's Mrs. Owen. And then, my history teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. We were talking before we got on air a little bit about your plans for next year, and you're trying to decide between a couple this week, right?
Yes, sir. Deciding between Hutchinson and Central Christian and McPherson.
Okay. And then those two, whichever one you decide to attend, you're going to go into which field of study?
I'm going to be attending either college for physical therapy.
Cool. Well, that sort of hits home because right now you are in physical therapy.
Yes, sir.
It might be a little bit of a deciding factor on what you decide to do. So what drew your interest to physical therapy?
I've just had a great physical therapist, and he's talked to me a lot about the career. And I also have a friend's mom in Wichita that does physical therapy.
Is that right? Good. Yeah, unfortunately, some of those, when you meet the physical therapist, it's usually not a good situation. You're recovering from an injury. So we hope for nothing but the best, and hopefully you find out some good news on that ankle. So you've been involved in a few classes here and some internships and things like that. Are there any experiences besides, your general classroom experiences, anything that has sort of helped shape who you are?
I would definitely say just growing as a person and I guess taking people's words.
Okay. No, you're good. And so, trusting them and believing in what they tell you is the truth, and you're going to follow along, right?
Yes, sir.
As you look back, what's some favorite memories throughout your 4 years here at Solomon?
Some favorite memories is one that sticks out mainly is doing the gritty in the locker room with Stein. That's definitely a memory I'll never forget.
That's a memory.
Yeah.
That would have been up at Clifton Clyde, correct?
Yes, sir.
Sub-state championship. What was that, your sophomore year?
That was my freshman year.
Freshman year, that's right. So, that's one that's been shared a few times over the years. So, it's always neat and a cool experience. What about, as you look back and you start to think about things and shoulda, coulda, woulda if you were to do it again as a freshman, if you were to talk to yourself as a freshman now as a senior, what advice would you give yourself coming into high school?
Some advice I'd give myself is basically really just taking school more serious, like my freshman year mainly.
No way.
Freshman year mainly for sure.
Okay. Well, we all have to adjust to that. But I still remember a guy and didn't even know who you were when you first came in the door, and then to see who you are now, and so the young man you're becoming. So you've matured a lot over the 4 years. The thing also is that, boy, how tall were you as a freshman?
Beginning of freshman year, I was 5'6".
Man, see, that's what I'm just a little bit bigger. So I was like, wow, look at this guy. And now how tall?
I'm like 6'4" now.
Yeah. So you have changed in those 4 years in a good way, both height and also in just maturing into a young man like we talked about. Words of advice for anybody or anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out or just any reflections as we're sitting on this stage. What are you thinking about this, by the way, first, before I answer that? Let's go to this question. What do you think about this stage? Is this exciting? Is this nervous? Where are we right now?
It's a mixture of excitement and just curiosity, how life is going to be with being on my own, basically.
So one of my favorite quotes that we've been using this year from the very beginning is, be curious, not judgmental.
Sure.
Okay. And I that as soon as you said that, it brought me back to that. And I think that's the longer you can keep that in your life, the better off you are. And always be curious of what's out there. This is shouldn't be nervous. It's exciting too.
Yeah.
Time to celebrate a little bit. Your mom's going to celebrate. Am I right?
Definitely.
She's going to be all excited up in here on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
She'll be pumped, and I know she'll have a big old smile on her face.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And so be there to support you, not just now, but also in the future, of course, too.
Sure.
Last thing, as I was saying, is there any other memories or shout outs or anybody you want to talk to or give advice to or anything in general?
Advice I would definitely say for underclassmen is to enjoy the times here because it really does go by fast. Even I know a lot of people say that, but it really does.
It does go fast. It wasn't too long ago. It just seems like you were a freshman, right?
Yeah.
So some of the other things that you probably got a chance to be a part of being here. You talked about being the off air. We were talking about being the prom king, and that's probably something. It's probably not something you really thought about when you came in as a freshman or being a part of a class and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Advantage of being in a class of 30-ish kids, right? And not a class of 300-ish kids.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming over here and being a part of the Gorilla family.
Sure.
As we say, once a gorilla, always a grill. You always be a part of it. It has been awesome to sit down and visit with you. It's been awesome to come to you guys every single week and visit with all of our wonderful seniors and the journey from the years and from the very beginning of the year till now. As we said on the stage, it's funny that you're here, and we talked about how the perspective changes when we're sitting here on this stage, and boy, it's a reality. In 4 days from now, you'll walk across at 10 o'clock and receive that diploma. And when we first started this back in September, October, no one was even worried. You couldn't wait to sprint to this moment to get to this stage. And now that we're here, it's amazing how they just stop for a minute, pause, thank their family and friends, and just really it becomes a lot more meaningful. When you're in the fall, you're like, nah, let's just get there. Let's get there. And then it's here and it's like, man, we should have gone back and slowed down a little bit. So thank you for sharing those words. Appreciate it. Wish you nothing but the best and best of luck on the ankle. Hopefully you get some good news. Once again, it's been a pleasure to come to you. Hopefully you've enjoyed the journey visiting with our wonderful seniors. We wish all of our seniors nothing the best. And we also want to thank all the parents out there, because without parents behind the scenes making this happen, they wouldn't be here. And so take a moment this week to also pat yourselves on the back out there. You've raised some amazing young men and women, and we wish all of our gorillas the best in their future. So until next year, maybe one before we get to summer, but until next year when we do the highlights of every single senior, hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you come back next year and get a chance to visit with our seniors next year. So once again, it's the 393 Legacy, a Gorilla podcast. Have a wonderful summer.